Hello, we are going to talk about informal settlements case study. Our name is Ziad Hussam and Yousef Hazim. Today we are going to talk about firstly categorization of the components as human settlements in general. Second, we are going to talk about general information and general data about our case study location, which is Ard Hikr Abbas in Al Warraq. Third, we are going to talk about categorization of rural or urban and justification of it. Fourth, we are going to talk about the definition of informal settlements and how it was applied to our case study. Fifth, we are going to talk about typology of this informal settlement and according to which category we should put it. And last, we are going to talk about the design intervention and its approaches and aspects, highlighting the cost control strategy. Our first point is categorization of human settlements in general. In geography, statistics, and archaeology, a human settlement is a community in which people live. The complexity of a settlement can range from a small number of dwellings grouped together to the largest of cities with surrounding urbanized areas. Human settlements may include hamlets, villages, towns, and cities. The physical components of human settlements are divided into three. The first component is the shelter. The shelter is the superstructure of different shapes, sizes, types, and material which must be made by man for security and protection from the surrounding elements. Second component is infrastructure. Infrastructure is a complex networks designed to deliver or remove from the shelter people, goods, energy, and information. And the third component of human settlements is services. Service covers the requirement of the community such as education, health, culture, welfare, recreational and nutrition stuff. Now let's talk in general about our case study. Our case study name is Ard Hikr Abbas. Hikr Abbas is located in Al Warraq in Giza and is easily accessible directly from Al Corniche Street. Hikr Abbas consists of two streets, which are Al Masjid Street or Abbas Hasib Street. It was known as Ard Noba or Ard Abbas Hasib, which is the name of the person that the area was monopolized by. The area was constructed with the arrival of Sa'ida to work in Cairo. Hikr Abbas is considered as people land, where people started renting lands from Abbas and then they started building on it without infrastructure. There was abundant land in front of the Nile and in front of Hikr Abbas. Some people from Hikr Abbas who could afford started expansion and building on it. In Hikr Abbas, the areas of the houses are very small, which is 45 meters square, and there are some rooms for rent with area 9 meters squares, which is very small. The structure of 30% of the buildings of Hikr Abbas is load-bearing walls and wooden ceiling, which is very dangerous, and they are very compacted to each other. The maximum height of the buildings is 4 stories, and all the buildings is similar to each other and very compacted to each other. Most of the houses have shared toilets.
Now we are going to talk about the categorization of urban and rural settlement. Our case study, which is Ard Hikr Abbas in Al Warraq in Giza, categorized as urban settlement due to the availability of police station, primary school, preparatory school, public hospital, public clinic, public transportation, public services such as markets, pharmacies, and public club, where all of these needs are under the category of urban settlement. Now we are going to talk about the definition of informal settlement in general and on our case. The informal settlement is a residential area that lacks basic services and infrastructure where the housing stock may not comply with the current planning and building regulation and where people may have no security or protection. Our case study, which is Ard Hikr Abbas, is an informal settlement because it lacks infrastructure where water supply and sewage have been added to Hikr Abbas recently, but there is still a problem, which is that inspection rooms are inside the apartment with the people or beside the entrance door. Also, the natural gas hasn't been added yet to Hikr Abbas and it will be added soon, but there will still have a problem where it won't be delivered to all homes. And due to the small spaces in Hekr Abbas, they can't make any services inside it, and they depend on the services which is in Al Warra. Also, the inhabitants of Hekr Abbas get rid of their garbage in the public street.
Now let's talk about the typology of our case study. The typology of our case study, which is Ard Hikr Abbas, is inserting in the uninhabited fragments of urban space. The typology of Ard Hikr Abbas, according to the morphological entrance, is backstages, where informal settlement is inserted between existing buildings, which is largely hidden from the public eye of formal city.
Now we are going to talk about the interventions and its approaches. There are two suggested opinions to develop Ard Hikr Abbas settlement. First suggestion is developing the current houses, which can be achieved by maintaining the wood panels in some houses, using reinforced concrete for higher security for houses to allow natural gas to enter the houses, replacement the shared toilets with private toilets for each house. Second suggestion is demolishing and rebuilding of the settlement, which can be achieved by removal of current buildings and rebuild it. Therefore, we can achieve good infrastructure, getting rid of compact buildings, redesign the building areas to increase the street widths, redesign the houses areas so all houses have the same area. Most of the suggested solutions are related to physical design intervention. Our own point of view is to develop the current houses because it will be less cost than removing the whole buildings and rebuilding them. Also, we have a lot of informal settlements in Egypt which need to be developed, so we need the less cost to be able to develop more informal settlements.